Hello teacups, what's brewing? To the OGs among you, the wall is back! I missed the wall. I swear when I was doing my online stuff, my students would be like, Miss, can you change the wall back? Because I wasn't allowed to tell them I was in England, and I had a really similar background in my office, but it was white, and so I just told them I painted it. They were like, Miss, can you paint it back? I was like, oh sorry, the people I had to help me can't come. If any of them have brothers in the class that I'm teaching next year, there's going to be trouble. For those of you who are newer to my channel, I was filming from home because I was locked down in England. I couldn't get back to my home here in Saudi for about 6 months, just over 6 months. And so this was my original setup. Thank you all so much for being here. It's really nice to be back. Some semblance of normality might return to my life soon. Fingers crossed for all of us. So I came back, I was quite busy settling in and just getting things sorted, and I was struggling a little bit, first for time, but then just really knowing where to jump back in with Foodie, because she's got so much stuff that she puts out, it's really hard to kind of judge it and go through it and then still be caught up. However, today she did update her community tab from the emergency room. I'm not sure how much of a state of emergency it is if she can put a 14 point list up on community, but we will put a pin in that. She did it, and I think we're just gonna go through it point by point. We're gonna discuss it a little bit in this video because I got a feeling she's a dirty deleter and it may go. So now's as good a time as any. It's a lot easier to break down than a live stream, so let's get into it. Okay, as I am lying in bed waiting on test results, I need to clear some things up because there are so many lies going around because of reaction channels twisting things and making up stupid conspiracies. Oh, excuse me, I'm out of practice with my reading. Honestly, sure, hate comes with the territory of being a public figure. It does. It also comes with the territory of being a proven liar. But I can still observe and say that some people and their comments are vile. I am absolutely sure on Chantal's channel with Chantal's content and her community, I'm absolutely sure there are more than some comments that are completely vile. However, if she's talking about reaction channels specifically, she's particularly pissed at French Fry Girl at the moment, and people have been mentioning her the most often. I wonder how much of it is vile, which I'm sure absolutely exists, and how much of it is vile because it's true and she doesn't like it. I think there's a balance there that maybe needs looking at, but I am sure she gets a lot of hate regardless. Number 1, I took this pic for proof and not for attention. She added a picture of her in a mask, obviously in some kind of hospital setting, to prove that she'd actually gone. It's a little sad, isn't it, that you would need to prove that, because most people would have the credibility with their audience that the only response when you say you're in the ER would be, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry, are you okay? That's not the case with Foodie. And she has, and if you're going to be super cynical, you could say there was a routine to it. When things are turning in her audience, had a general proclivity for turning up in the art room and getting sympathy. Do I think this is the only thing at play here? No, but I'm saying there's a pattern of behavior that we have observed before. I don't tell you all my real human, capital letters, problems for attention. I don't think you do. Of course, I don't think you're particularly honest in most of your problems. I do think you have them. I do think they also make content. I think two things can be true of that at the same time, and it doesn't have to serve one purpose. I think you do some things only for attention. I don't necessarily think this thing is only for attention. I think you clearly have a reason to be in that hospital and I want you to get help. But are you saying it's impossible that this attention might be useful? I'm not sure. Yes, because I just love being an addict. That's her new identity. Now that she's admitted to it, the only thing she is an addict, and therefore you must excuse everything. And I did it all for the attention. I will get into that later, but I don't think you did, but that doesn't mean you can't use the attention. Now you've got it. Number 2, My weight loss did start with the Ozempic. I believe that. It made me not hungry, so because I didn't address my food addiction, I believe a transfer of addiction occurred. I don't believe you're wrong. I think when you take out food and you realize that actually it wasn't hunger that was making you want to eat, it was a different kind of hole you were filling with a physical thing, then you can end up with a lot of problems. I think transfer of addiction is very real. I think, just my opinion, not professional, that we've seen many signs of her in many aspects of her life transferring addiction from one place to another. I don't think it's a coincidence that the THC use became much more pronounced practically the moment she got onto Ozempic. And I don't think she's entirely wrong in this thinking. I do think that she needs some kind of psychologist, she needs some kind of therapist, she needs some kind of actual qualified doctor to be able to talk to about that. And wouldn't it be nice if she did that? So I did lose a good 50 pounds, 50 or so from the Ozempic in capital letters and not substance abuse. I believe she lost some weight at the beginning with Ozempic. I am not disputing that. But she was 338, I think she said recently, and she started at she was 70 pounds down and now she's just bounced up a little bit. I don't pay attention to too many of the numbers, but let's say 65 pounds down. We saw on camera 2 weeks where she had an inexplicable 30-pound loss. So to be coming out here with, I lost 50 pounds with Ozempic, how are you measuring that? I can't prove it's not true, but the things we saw on camera where you were eating very unhealthy food and you were inexplicably dropping a lot of weight very fast was very much within the story arc of illicit drugs. It was very much within your cocaine use that you have admitted to us has been the last 2 months, which we're going to look at in a minute. So did you lose some weight through Ozempic? I'm sure you did. I remember how sick she was feeling. I don't know how long she's been using, well, we're getting ahead of ourselves, but I wouldn't track 50 pounds on Ozempic. If we take the 30 pounds she lost over 2 weeks to be correct, which she weighed herself on camera in those cases, so I think we can take it as correct, then you can't have lost 50 pounds of it on Ozempic. That's not how math works. So I did lose a good 50 pounds also from the Ozempic and not substance abuse. Evidence from your channel to the contrary, but I can't prove it. I will continue to try and maintain weight loss and try to do it healthier. Great, that'd be nice. I mean, it's a low bar going from cocaine to something healthier, and you could do it. People saying I don't have a right to say anything about that weight loss because it is from the Ozempic. I don't, okay, hang on. Have a skewed thinking process. It is just a tool like any other weight loss tool, surgery, etc. If we could confirm that you lost weight on Ozempic, I would have no problem with the fact that you lost weight on Ozempic. Okay? There's an analogy I was told about weight loss surgery, which I think applies here, where they say, if you need to paint a ceiling and you can't reach and you use a ladder, did you still paint the ceiling? Yes, you still put the work in, you still bought the paint, you still brushed it onto the place. You still did the work, but you used the tool to get there. Ozempic is the same thing. It's not designed for weight loss. It's designed to control the blood sugars that she had all out of control. But if you had said, I've gone on it and I've lost, let's be more realistic, let's say 20, 25 pounds, I'd be like, yeah, okay, cool, fantastic. Your blood sugars are under control and it's helping you control your appetite. Brilliant. I'd be flying the flag for you. However, as we've just discussed, the evidence you were presenting in your videos was a sudden, inexplicable 30-pound weight loss within the timeline of your illegal drugs. So I don't think people in general are saying, hey, you can't celebrate weight loss from Ozempic. They're saying, hey, You can't celebrate weight loss, tell everybody it's the Ozempic, and then be doing coke in the back, because that is not presenting the truth to your audience. And it makes a lot of potentially influenceable people think, oh, the Ozempic, oh, that's amazing. And even worse, because you are putting a 2-month timer on this, it makes people who see you do a 30-pound weight loss in 2 weeks, who might be just as desperate as you are to get that weight off, think, maybe I could do cocaine once or twice. Maybe I could nip it in the bud. Maybe I could just catch myself before it became a problem and still see some weight loss. And that's an extremely dangerous, forget the dishonesty, which is a huge problem for you at the moment with your audience, but that's dangerous. That is extremely problematic and very misleading. Number 3, speaking of the timeline, I started using only approx, not to be this bitch, but you actually need 2 P's in that, 2 months ago, and not 6 or more. This was all in capitals. This is all bullshit lies, and it is so ironic and hypocritical for these moronic reaction channels to accuse me of lying about everything, yet people believe their lies. Okay, and some emojis. As far as I know, I've seen maybe a live stream and a half of hers. As far as I know, French fried girl, because let's call a spade and name names, shall we? Because everyone knows who you're talking about. She's very confident in her opinions, but she does frame them as opinions as far as I can tell. She says, in my opinion. It's clear she believes them wholeheartedly, but she doesn't frame them as true. She frames them as, hey, based on this evidence, this doesn't seem right. Based on my experience here, this doesn't seem right. Could she be wrong? Absolutely she could be wrong. But she's not saying that, you know, I have the truth, I have secret knowledge, I have been hiding in your bins and filming you. She's saying, hey, this appears to be the case, and this is where I see evidence for my opinion. It's a reasoned opinion. Whether you agree with it, whether you say it's true, whether it's false, this is what I'm thinking. I've gone back and I've thought this. Could be wrong. That's the thing with opinions. So to say it's a lie they're telling, she's not presenting it as a fact. She's presenting it as an opinion. Therefore, it's not true or false. There is no lie to be had. And again, to start flashing around saying, oh, accuse me of lying. We don't need to accuse you. You admitted to lying. There's no requirement for an accusation. You told us you were lying. That's why people think you are lying. There is no trap house on Maria Avenue. I'm not sure. People are literally dumb. Sometimes people are dumb. Sometimes, a lot of the time, you put more information into your videos than you think you do, and it tracks. So yes, is it sometimes wrong? Surely is. Of course it would be, some of it. But to say people are dumb, people were smart enough to figure out what was going on long before you admitted it. And the only reason you admitted it is because people were starting to suspect what was going on and presenting evidence for it. So dumb is a bit of a strong word. I pulled over on that street because I was going to the Burger King on the street over. Why would you not just park at the Burger King? And did she, I'm not completely caught up with her lives, you guys, did she have a Burger King in her car? Maybe she did, I don't know. Nice detective work. Like I say, people were telling you you were on drugs long before you told us. So actually, yeah guys, nice detective work. Number 4, I relapsed last night. The day before, I did not use. A slightly more serious question, at what point do you say you're sober or clean? Because I would consider a day still using, but I'm sure for addicts and for people who are struggling with substance abuse, one day can be a massive achievement. I was wondering about the word relapsed, because relapse to me suggests a longer sobriety than she necessarily has had, but I also don't want to belittle people's experience when they really are struggling, and a day is an achievement. So I won't go too far with that, but I was wondering. The day before I did not use. So when you all thought I did it in that one live stream, I actually hadn't that early morning. I did the day before that though. Sorry, I was having some trouble passing that sentence. I think this is the one she was talking about because she did address it in a live after, because Yaba put up on her Twitter she'd gone live a couple of times and a comparison shot between earlier in the day and later. And when I say her pupils were saucers, like, it was shocking even to a rather naive eye. Yeah. So it was bad enough that she felt the need to address it. It was a compelling picture. Can I prove anything? No, so I'll leave it there. But it was a compelling picture, and I think it was perfectly reasonable in the context of all the other conversations we've had about her using for people to think she was on something. Number 5, I don't owe anybody any information. True. If I want to keep certain things private from now on, how about from before now? How about you just don't write this? Because we've had this conversation in live stream before and you're still talking about it. At what point do you stop beating your chest saying, I deserve privacy, and just take it because it is your right? So if I want to keep certain things private from now on, I have a right to do that. Please exercise that right instead of writing these rants. I don't have to justify myself to anyone, and yet here we are, about anything. Believe what you want, in the end it has no impact on my life. Well, you're in the emergency room typing this, so clearly somewhere it's making an impression. And given that your life is funded by the money you earn on YouTube, it does and should have an impact to an extent on some of your actions. Number 6, yes, I am a huge mess right now, but today is a new day, and today I am choosing to get help and keep trying to work on myself. Great. I am for that. I've always been for that. I want you to do things and do them properly because it's amazing compared to where you are now. Please do that. No one is arguing that they don't want you to do that. One day we will Eurobees. We'll see. And I will starve all your Sorry, serious face. And I will starve all you bitches of using my messy life for content. Weird kiss emoji. See you haters. You earn a lot more money being a mess on YouTube than we do, and you're a lot more reliant on that money than we are. You're only punishing yourself. Someone put something up on Twitter the other day, so I don't follow the Shani thing. I know a few of the broad strokes because people post stuff on Twitter in kind of similar audiences. But apparently she posted recently a huge rant on video saying, I will not be providing content until I get apologies. And I just posted, I was like, so you're punishing us for wanting to for actually deplatforming you by deplatforming yourself? That's how I feel about this. This is the definition of an empty threat. I hope at best that would mean I'm going to have an amazing life and therefore this drama will not exist. Please, the best revenge you can have is to live a good life. Take that to heart and please do better with yourself. There's only one you. You don't get to change it in. Please do better with yourself. I've always asked this of you. Number 7. I came to the ER because I have several medical conditions. Nice of you to remember them now. When you were digging through your drawer the other day looking for edibles and found the medication you were supposed to be on for cholesterol, I was a little concerned you may have forgotten about those conditions, but it seems you've remembered. I'm so pleased. And you all know about, apologies, and yes, I have been neglecting my health. Oh, she got that. Never mind. When you are at your lowest and depressed, shut the fuck up, and you tend to neglect your health and home, etc. Yes, you do. You absolutely do. But you've managed to do the things you want to do. So stop pulling that out as a get out of jail free card. And this is also what the addict card is becoming for her. It's saying, I have this condition that I am not treating, that I am not going to my doctor when it doesn't work, when I do treat it. I am not discussing with any professional despite having people there ready to help me. and I'm using it as an excuse to get out of jail free from my entire life and adult responsibilities. I don't care if you are depressed, because I don't think people should be shamed for that. I care if you have treatment for your depression, if you're able to do the things you want to do, driving 2 hours to Montreal, and yet you choose not to pursue an appointment with a doctor to better the problem. It's fine to have the issue, it's not fine to treat it the way you do. If you can prioritize some things in life, you can prioritize this. I had bad chest pain after using last night. That does not sound good. It's not surprising she'd start seeing other effects on her body, but that's concerning. And I asked a family member to come with me to make sure I didn't have any serious health issues for abusing drugs. I think we're about 2 months late on that visit. Do you remember the first time the infamous, I took a hoot from the mystery meth pipe? That was when I was like, you abuse the emergency room so much, please go. And that's the only reason I haven't been like, seriously, the ER room again. As I've said earlier, I do think it can serve multiple purposes in terms of attention and garnering sympathy from her audience in that kind of emotional manipulation sort of a way. But if she had chest pain, get thee to a doctor. Because she does have a lot of issues and they could all go very wrong with her. The one thing I'm really happy to see in this sentence though, is I asked a family member. I'm assuming her mom in that case. Her mom is a nurse, I believe, and her mom did message her. We had her on that live stream where Chantal was admitting to drugs and she was like, I'm sorry, I lied to you. This is the one thing I'm quite pleased about, in the sense of she can scrub her channel. We've seen her have what appeared to be terrible health updates that she's scrubbed clean from her channel, and she's naysayed and she's just ignored. Telling people in her real life was a step she can't scrub clean. Yes, we talk a lot about how her mom couldn't control her when she was a kid, but her mom seemed pretty on it when she was hearing this. And if her mom went with her to the ER room, I hope her mom can stick with her like glue. Because having consequences in real life that aren't death, having people there saying, nah, we're going, no, you're going to this, it would, if they could make it happen, would be useful. Because I don't think anyone in her chat can make it happen. I don't think any of her friends can make it happen. I think she obviously needs to do it for herself, but she needs someone willing to push her, and Pete's ain't gonna push her. Maybe her mom will. We do, as I say, mention all the time that, well, mom couldn't handle her as a teenager, but they're both older now, and Chantal's in a more vulnerable position, so maybe her mom could do something. Number 8, I have an appointment with an intake tomorrow to get insurance covered help for addiction. I did not have access to this program as a food addict. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me that you didn't. I'm not sure what she means by insurance covered help for addiction. If it's an intake, is that an in-person, like a facility, like not a detox, but is it a program that way? I'm not sure. I did misread this the first time when I started this react, and I read it as I'm getting insurance to cover help. And I was like, well, that gives you the option to step out of it. You've had 1,000 paths to health you've never taken. But I think I did misread it, and it seems like, okay, if it's intake, she's doing something. I don't know if that means at this hostel. I don't know if it means a facility. I guess we will find out. Getting help would be a great step. And if she's going into some kind of intake, I assume there would be some kind of enforced therapy, which wouldn't that be a bucket of worms, but it's good to open it. Number 9, I like making numbered lists, whatever. Number 10, if you are just here to shame me for whatever reason, I will block you. You can continue to suck donkey balls all day, every day. We've had a conversation on this channel before between feeling ashamed and being shamed are two different things. I think you have a lot of reasons to feel ashamed with yourself recently. That doesn't mean we're shaming you. 11, giving some information about someone in the next room that doesn't need to be here. Number 12, I will be staying with someone, obviously keeping this secret because people are nuts and stalkerish, for a few days in order to not be alone or be accountable. I don't need to be a great PI to narrow down the very small amount of people in her life. Her friends are an exclusive group. It's not going to be Pete's. She would have just said Pete's. The only real possibilities in terms of staying with somebody, I'm guessing, would be her mom or maybe potentially BB, who is the only other person I think in her life who would care enough, quite frankly. Again, I don't know, but the most probable are those two. 13, unlucky number. When I was in China, they wouldn't name building floors. On the 4th floor, you'd either have floor A or you'd have like 3A or what have you, because the word for is very similar to the word for death, and it was considered very unlucky. Just a minor point. 14. Who the F has the nerve to claim I'm faking an addiction? Probably anybody who heard you admit that all the crap you've been feeding us was lies. That's the problem with having no credibility with your audience at all. You then, as an audience member, have to question everything. And if someone were coming out to me with an addiction story, I would never do that with somebody else, but you simply can't be believed, and these are the consequences. That being said, let me finish this one. If you commented this, you are literally the worst kind of person and need more help than me. Again, with the context of the fact that you're a lying liar who lies, I can't blame people for questioning even this, because most people would not lie about something this serious, and yet here you were. Okay. In terms of faking an addiction, I don't think she's faking an addiction. I think she's been addicted to everything most of her life. I think we've mostly seen it in food, but food was taken away. We've seen it in THC, we've seen it in sex, we've seen it in shopping. We've seen it to a lesser effect, but a potential issue in gambling. We're seeing it in drugs. She's addicted to being addicted to being addicted. We've seen it in attention. It's all different arms of the same beast. So I think it's entirely possible that even if she doesn't have a coke addiction, which she seems to have, and I believe, even if she doesn't have it, she's addicted to a lot of other things. Of all the things we would accuse her of faking, I don't think addiction is where we would land. I think the addiction is a lot more useful for the attention than not having it. So we're going to hear more about it, which is maybe why people are like, well, you're making such a big deal of it. You're using it so much. Is that everything on this list? Let me check. Oh, just at the end. I will do an update video or live stream. I'm betting it will be a live stream when I get home and I'm doing better. To my supporters, enablers, because I don't deserve any kindness or support. Emojis, roll eye. We'll talk. I love you so much, heart, but suck donkey balls if you're shaming me. And thank you for your positivity. Enablers, because I don't deserve any kindness or support. Your drug habit isn't something that should be supported on this platform. And the members and the super chats and all the things that help to fund your life also help to fund that. So to say they are enablers because I don't deserve any kindness and support when they're literally giving you money and you're literally using that money to fund your lifestyle, which if you've been doing it for 2 months, which is what you're claiming, you've had that YouTube payment. You said you spent $1,000 on it and then later it was kind of changed to 2,000. And that money came from somewhere. You get the money from YouTube. So how is it not funding your lifestyle here? Tell me. I'd love to know. But to say, and it's classic Chantal, saying if you don't support what I'm doing right now, despite the fact that I have hugely problematic behavior that might explain why the reaction I'm getting is so different from the reaction someone else might be getting, and then to push that out into the wider, well, if you hate what I'm doing, you hate all addicts, and that's not fair, is incredibly childish and simplistic, and is a classic move she uses when she doesn't have the ability to argue the logic of what she's saying. All right, everybody, we are done. That was the end of the community post. I hope we get a video rather than a live stream. We probably won't. I hope she gets some help, because Jesus. At what point does she just give out? I don't know. She says she'll never give up, but I believe fully she'll give out long before she gives up, and it's not going to be that long. It's very concerning. I would talk a little bit about abuse of the ER room, because if you've got time to make the list, you don't seem to be in a state of emergency. But frankly, with all her health concerns, I'd rather she see somebody than not see somebody. And yeah, you know, you're using an illicit drug that you have no idea how it's interacting in your system. You have no idea the damage it's done over the last 2 months, and you're having heart issues, go to the ER. But am I going to sit here and hold my breath expecting change? Am I going to give you the sympathy that you're trying to manipulate and leech out of me with this post? No, I'm not, because we've been here before. I want you to get better. I will always support you in getting better. But am I going to be milked for emotion while you sit there and also tell us to go suck ass and how we're terrible people because we have things to say about the lies you feed us? No, I'm not. Okay, everybody, let's hope we get a positive update. Let's hope that somehow, somewhere, there is someone in that facility, either in the ER or in the facility tomorrow, that actually gets her here, that gets her in some kind of treatment. I don't think she's willing to do it for herself, so I don't think somebody else necessarily can get her in for her, but we can but hope. Okay, everybody, thank you very much. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.